Hey everybody, it's Audrey. Today I'm excited to share another page with the November kit from Clique Kits called Swan Lake. And this is for today's pep rally, which is where members and design team members get together to share pages that they have created with the lovely kit. So I was really inspired by this piece of paper with the frames on it. And I was able to, in Photoshop, actually print my photos the exact size to fit inside those frame openings. So they're kind of small. I think they're like 2¼ inch on the long side. They are rectangular, but they're in like maybe by 1¾ So they're tiny pictures. But I picked out a couple, and I really wanted the design to focus on these frames. I think I might do a Photoshop tutorial to show how you can get your photographs the exact size you want, down to the hundredth of a inch, I guess. So I'm using the frames cut out from a piece of paper, and I'm also using, there was on the chipboard that was an add-on for this kit, the frame for that too, which actually the photo in that frame was a square. So yeah, that was a little bit bigger than the openings on the other frames. This is the Gather collection, by the way, from Maggie Holmes in crepe paper. And after I cut out some of the frames, I definitely wanted to pick the colorful frames against this kind of teal background. And I'm just going through the Gather ephemera die cut pack to see if I can find any other bits to kind of place between my frames in here. The problem was that a lot of the things that I had were just too big because my photos were kind of small, and some of these cards and phrases were just kind of too big to fit in there. Even that tag that says enjoy the craft tag with the gold on there, which by the way is exclusive to this kit, and they are absolutely beautiful. There's I think 3 or 4 of them in this kit. Anyway, it was just kind of too big, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just have the whole design be these frames, and then I'll just find ways to decorate these frames that don't have photos in them. So that's what I actually end up doing. And so I'm going to go back and cut out a couple more frames, and I'm just going to layer them and I decided to make 2 lines down the page and have the frames kind of staggered, and but that the edges of the frames, or rather the bottom of each frame, kind of overlaps the frame above. So if you look at the frames going down the page, like for example on the left-hand side, you can see that all of the bottom edges of the frames, kind of the thicker edge, are all in a line. And my intention was to arrange them that way so that I could stitch down them and that they would all kind of be connected. So yeah, as you can see here, my problem with this particular page was everything that came in the kit was too big to fit in these little frames and was just taking over from the design. But I was able to find a few things like these adorable paper clips that have kind of like these plastic, kind of like an epoxy, not epoxy, but I don't know, just look at these little plastic tags on them, and it has volume. It feels like it's almost like a puffy tag. It's super cute. And then I went to the chipboard sheet and found little bits of chipboard that I could put on, some banners, and a couple other phrases, and then of course the flare there on the left, which is exclusive to the kit as well. So to bring in a couple more small elements, I broke out my paper punch. This is probably one of my most used punches, especially in the fall. I love punching out maple leaves with this little punch. It's the perfect size. It's not super big and it's not super tiny. It's just the perfect size punch, so I love to use that punch. Okay, so now I'm just deciding which frames I'm going to put my photos in, and I'm kind of trying to put them in the triangle, the visual triangle, but because the frames are staggered like they are, it's not working very well, but it's all right how they come out. I like where they are when it's done. So I went and I just broke out a little kind of self-healing cutting mat here in my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut out the inside of the frames that I decided to put my photos in, and then I just end up gluing my photos right behind them, so I have to trim them down a little bit to fit, and they fit perfect. I was actually really surprised at how they printed out like exactly the right size. So I was really good at measuring and putting those measurements in to get the photos the right size. Okay, so the rest of this is actually just going through and deciding how I'm going to embellish um, and what am I going to put on this page to help jazz it up a little bit. I have to go back. I eventually go back and find some more leaf punches that I have to add in, and then I go to some of the die cuts and actually cut some of the die cuts apart, which I know a lot of people are like, how can you do that? But if it gets me using it, then I don't mind cutting things up as long as it's getting used. So that little Hello Love piece came off of the chipboard, which I love this chipboard. And just the colors in this whole collection are so beautiful. I mean, you could really use them. I was looking at them, like some of the aquas and pinks would be really pretty for like a wintry page as well. But you could, I mean, I could see spring with this collection. I can definitely see, I mean, obviously I'm doing a page about fall. Just fall. So, I mean, just any season is really possible with this collection. It's so pretty. So I'm using these thickers for my title, and I'm going to put this fall, and I put it on there on the frame like that, and I actually end up taking it off the frame because I feel like the letters are kind of getting lost. The white part of the letters are kind of getting lost, and you can't really see them. I think for these particular thickers, because I used them on my previous page as well, you really have to have a good contrast between the colors. So, which is difficult because half is white, half of the letters are white, and half are black. So you have to have something that really makes the letters pop out. And this particular kind of light, really light mint green just wasn't working. But anyway, so I'll move those in a little bit. Okay, so I just cut off the leaves from one of those rose die cuts, and I do the same thing with a piece of chipboard. So those green leaves right there that I'm working with just came from the chipboard, but they were on a flower. And I'm not a really I don't know, I don't do a lot of florally rose things like that. I might stick it behind a photo for a layer, but I don't really have it as a permanent design, so it didn't bother me to cut up those leaves off, those die cuts in that chipboard. I put that number 2 at the top because there are my 2 children are in the photos. And so it's yellow, and it picks up the yellow in the frame on the right-hand side. And then the bottom frame on the left has a teeny tiny bit of yellow in it too. So the yellow, like when I'm watching this video as I'm doing this voiceover, the yellow just really stands out. And I wish I had a little bit more yellow in the bottom left there, but I guess it is what it is now. So yeah, but I did try to put the last frame that I could find that did have a little bit of yellow. I tried to put that there in the bottom to make that visual triangle. We have had an amazing, amazing fall. Oh my gosh, it's been one of my favorite falls ever. The weather has been so warm, and it's just been so beautiful, and the colors this year have been absolutely incredible. And we have spent a lot of time outside, and especially playing in the leaves, and the last couple of weeks raking leaves, which that's not the fun part. Well, it is for the kids because they get to jump in the piles, but it's just been a wonderful time, and I've really enjoyed being outside with the kids and watching them enjoy it too. So this is a really special fall, one that I'll remember for quite a while. So the rest here is I'm just going to glue all these frames down so that I can stitch over them in the lines. And I notice, I can't tell if that left set of frames is a little bit crooked, or if it just looks crooked because that background, like the background paper I use, the painting is crooked around the edges. So it's probably really crooked because I didn't put a ruler up to measure. I just kind of eyeballed, but oh well, it's a little crooked. No big deal. Okay, so I moved my letters down here. And also, actually, I'm glad I moved my letters too, because then it led me to stitch right through that frame without having to worry about going over the letters. I'm not sure how my sewing machine would do over 2 layers of chipboard, the letter chipboard, and then the frame. So I'm glad I just did one. Going through and adding a few black splatters to help pick up the, I didn't have any other black on this page except in the title. And what am I reaching for here? Oh, yeah. I knocked over something, and then reaching for something, I knocked over another thing and made a mess. Oh, I was going to fill that bottom left frame with something, and there was a cute little phrase that I just cut off from one of the 3x4 cards, and I'm using the scrap that I cut out earlier from one of the other frames to measure exactly what size I need to cut it. So it fits in just perfect. Glue that baby down. And that's pretty much it. I add my date in here with a date stamp underneath my frame, or phrase, and then the date on the bottom. And then add my stitching lines, and that's it. So thanks so much for stopping by. Please go check out this kit. It's absolutely gorgeous, and follow along with the pep rally today and see what everybody else has created. Stay scrappy. Have fun.